Hi again. In today's lesson, I'll be covering two similar but different Taekwondo kicks, the downward kick and the pick-shaped kick. I'll be explaining how each kick is performed, their targets, and how they're used. I'll also be showing you some pad drills that you can practice. And at the end, I'll explain a little bit of the history of the pick-shaped kick and how it differs from the axe kick, which you may have heard of. The downward kick uses the heel as the tool. It curves at the apex of the kick and it goes in a downward direction. So it could be done outwards or it could be done inwards. The reason why it curves is to get over an obstacle. It could be the opponent's arm, shoulder, or another opponent, or any obstacle that gets in the way of the path. Now, General Choi says not to do this kick below the solar plexus. The target's always solar plexus and above, otherwise you lose power. Now, as a physicist, I believe that you still get enough power if you get to about hip level. Now, you should contract the hamstring muscles to get acceleration, and around solar plexus level is optimum anyway. After that, you just rely on a bit more on gravity. So the main targets are the skull and the clavicle. Some examples are you might control the opponent's arm to pull them forward and then circle your leg over their body and strike their head with the heel. Or you may arc your leg over the opponent's shoulder, inward or outward, to reach the skull or clavicle. So practice the downward kick on a kick pad about head level. From a walking stance, arc your leg outward or inward and strike with your heel. You can place an obstacle next to the target to encourage you to get enough height to get over it. The Taekwondo Encyclopedia describes the pick-shaped kick as a variation of the downward kick. But unlike the downward kick, it doesn't move in an arc, going in or out. It just moves vertically up and down. So it can use the heel, or it can use the ball of the foot. So it moves like a pick. Although the kick is useful for an attack, it's also frequently used to harass and keep distance from the opponent. When striking with the heel, the targets are again the skull and the clavicle. When striking with the ball of the foot, the targets are the face and secondarily the jaw or the temple. One important detail, the supporting foot can be lifted off the ground when raising the leg. This helps gain more height. When using the ball of the foot, the leg should be bent at impact so the ball makes better contact and the kick accelerates more sharply. In the Taekwondo Encyclopedia, it's written that when you do pick-shaped kick with the heel, you have to bend your knee 45 degrees. And when you perform it with the ball of the foot, your knee should be slightly bent at the moment of impact. Now, I'm quite sure that this is incorrect. I've been to many General Choi seminars and I never remember him saying that you have to bend your knee when performing pick-shaped kick with the heel, as we do in Juche. Now, I think that a lot of instructors have seen what's written in the encyclopedia and starting to teach that way. But if you look back to the old videos of Juche, you will always see them performing it with the leg straight. And actually, I've got proof because I have footage from a General Choi seminar that I attended, and I was performing Juche. And when I performed the pick-shaped kick, this is what he said. Now, this footage that I'm going to show you has never been seen before. I filmed it, I've never posted it, I've never shown it to anyone. So you'll be the first to see any clips from that. It's 7 hours long, but I'm just showing you the clip where I do the pick-shaped kick. So listen very carefully. The audio is quite bad, but if you listen very carefully, you might make out what he says, and I'll go over it afterwards and write what he says in the description in case you're not sure. So listen very carefully.
picture kick, you understand, that's no problem. Here or here, straight, hit. If you want to attack here or here, have to be this.
So basically what he said is, after I performed the pick-shaped kick, he said, pick-shaped kick, you understand, this is no problem. Here and here, straight, heel. Okay, so it's a broken up sentence, which basically means the way I performed it was correct, and if you want to hit the skull or the clavicle, you keep your leg straight and you use the heel. And then he goes on to say, for here and here, you must do this. And then he shows the knee bent, exposing the ball of the foot. So in other words, if you want to hit the face or the chest, use the ball of the foot and bend the knee. The encyclopedia doesn't actually quote the chest as a legitimate target, but if it comes from General Choi's mouth, then it is. So even if it's not written in the encyclopedia. Okay, so in the past there has been many mistakes in the book. So when General Choi clarifies it, we've got to take his word that that's what he meant. Okay. So if any of you have been to a General Choi seminar and heard him say differently, I'd love to hear from you. Just mention it in the comments. But I've always taught it with the legs straight, and I'll continue to do so. Now, about that video of the General Choi seminar, I will be posting more clips from that, even though the audio is bad. There's some quite interesting pieces from there. So if you subscribe, you will not miss out, because in the future I will be posting more from that video. So practice this kick on a target pad. From the rear leg, lift it straight up and down. Move the leg in a vertical action, not going round, inward or outward in a curve. The target should move towards the attacker as the kick is delivered. When practicing with the ball of the foot, use a target pad or a bob if you have one. Focus on bending the knee slightly as you strike. To recap, the downward kick moves in an arc to overcome an obstacle and always uses the heel. The pick-shaped kick moves up and down vertically and can use the heel or the ball of the foot. Now here's a bit of history about the pick-shaped kick. It was only introduced in the early to mid-1980s when it got introduced in the new pattern Juche, which replaced Kodang pattern. Master Park Jun-tae was instrumental in designing that new pattern, and it was thought in those days that a lot of ITF sparers were using the kick that's similar to the WTF axe kick. So ITF decided to introduce what they call a pick-shaped kick that of a similar nature. But the formal name in ITF Taekwondo is pick-shaped kick, not axe kick. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.